Listen closely because the air around you has changed, and I know you can feel it deep in your bones even if you cannot yet name it. We are entering a corridor of time, specifically on November 27th and 28th, that history will record as the moment the great dam finally broke. Sit with me for a moment and let the noise of the world fade away, because what I am about to tell you concerns the very architecture of your destiny. You have been walking through a fog, a heavy mist that has made every step feel like a battle and every decision feel like a gamble with high stakes. But that era of confusion is dissolving right now. The universe is not a chaotic place where things happen by accident. It is a precise mechanism of checks and balances, and for a very long time the scales have been tipped against you. But today, specifically on this 27th day of November, the counterweight is being released. We are standing in the center of a Grand Water Trine, a configuration so rare and so powerful that it acts like a cosmic circuit board, lighting up the darkest corners of your life and bringing flow to places that have been dry and barren for years. And in the comments right now, declare your readiness by writing this simple truth: I am fully open to receiving the abundance and justice that the universe has prepared for me. This is not just about thinking positive thoughts or wishing upon a star. This is about physics, spiritual physics, and the law of cause and effect finally catching up to you. You see, for the past few months, specifically since July, Saturn, the great taskmaster, the Lord of time and karma, has been moving backward in the sky, appearing to retreat. And during this time, he has been withholding rewards, not to punish you, but to protect you because you were not yet ready to hold the weight of what is coming. But today, on November 27th, Saturn stops moving backward. He stands perfectly still in the sky at exactly 25 degrees of Pisces. And this stationing direct is the most powerful moment in planetary mechanics, because a planet is at its loudest and most intense when it is standing still. Imagine a massive pendulum that has swung as far back as it can go and hangs there for a split second before crashing forward with unstoppable momentum. That is what is happening to your life right now. For you, my dear Scorpio, this is personal because Venus, the planet of value, of love, of money and luxury, is sitting right there in your sign, moving through the deep and mysterious waters of Scorpio. This means the payout, the blessing, the turning of the tide is happening in your house, in your identity, in the very core of who you are. You have felt invisible, like your efforts were disappearing into a void, like your love was being poured into a cup with a hole in the bottom. But Venus in Scorpio during this Grand Trine ensures that everything you gave is coming back to you, not in a trickle, but in a flood. The 27th of November is the day. The pressure valve is released, and you might feel this physically as a sudden wave of exhaustion that is not quite sleepiness, but a deep cellular need to stop and integrate. Your body is the hardware for your soul, and when the software is getting a massive upgrade, like it is right now, the system needs to reboot. So do not fight the tiredness. Do not force yourself to grind harder, because the time for struggle is over, and the time for receiving has begun. This energy continues to ripple out on November 28th, intensifying as the moon joins this dance and triggers memories and feelings you thought you had buried long ago. You see, Scorpio energy is about the hidden things, the buried treasures, the secrets kept in the dark. And when Venus shines her light here, she does not just bring new money, she unearths old money. She recovers lost assets. She balances debts that you thought would never be paid. This could manifest as a literal repayment of money owed to you, or a sudden resolution to a legal matter, or an inheritance from a distant relative. But it also manifests energetically as the return of your power. Think back to the moments when you gave your power away, when you stayed silent to keep the peace, when you let someone take credit for your work, or when you sacrificed your own happiness to support someone else. Those were deposits you made into the cosmic bank of karma. You thought those moments were losses, you thought you were being drained, but the universe saw it as an investment, and Saturn has been keeping the ledger with absolute precision. Now, as Saturn turns direct in Pisces, forming that perfect angle to Venus in your sign, the maturity date of those investments has arrived. The 27th and 28th of November are the delivery dates. It is important that you understand the nature of water in this configuration because we are dealing with a Grand Water Trine involving Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Water is the element of emotion, of intuition, of memory, and of flow, and water cannot be stopped. It always finds a way. It flows around obstacles. It seeps through cracks. It wears down the hardest stone over time. This means that the abundance coming to you cannot be blocked by any person, by any circumstance, or by any delay that existed in the past. If a door was slammed in your face months ago, watch it swing open now as if by an invisible hand. If a person walked away from you, leaving you with questions and pain, watch how the energy shifts to bring you closure or a new connection that makes the past irrelevant. The 28th of November specifically carries a vibration of emotional clarity, where the fog lifts completely and you see your path with startling sharpness. You are a Scorpio. You are the alchemist of the zodiac. You know how to take pain and turn it into power. You know how to take lead and turn it into gold. But for so long, you have been forced to use that alchemy just to survive, just to keep your head above water. Now the universe is saying you no longer need to use your magic for survival. You can now use it for creation. The struggle mode is being switched off, and the thriving mode is being switched on. But this transition can feel jarring, because you have become so accustomed to the fight that peace feels suspicious to you. You might find yourself waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for the bad news, waiting for the catch. But I am telling you, as your Abuelo, who sees the stars clearly, there is no catch this time. This is simply the harvest of what you have planted in the storms of the past. Saturn in Pisces has been dissolving the structures in your life that were no longer sound, washing away the foundations that were built on sand so that you can stand on solid rock. It has been a painful process, letting go of illusions, letting go of people you thought were loyal, letting go of dreams that were actually too small for you. But that clearing process was necessary to make space for the magnitude of what is arriving now. On these 2 days, the 27th and 28th, pay very close attention to your intuition, because it is the guidance system that will lead you to your treasure. You might get a sudden urge to call someone, or to drive down a different street, or to open an old email account. Do not ignore these nudges, because they are not random thoughts. They are the whispers of your spirit guides directing you to the location of your blessing. Venus in Scorpio is magnetic. She does not chase, she attracts. And right now your magnetic field is being amplified 1,000 times over. You do not need to beg for what is yours. You do not need to manipulate or force or strain. You simply need to stand in your truth and let the universe deliver what it owes you. However, there is a shadow side to this energy that you must be aware of, because Scorpio energy is intense and can sometimes veer into obsession or fear. You might feel a sudden spike of anxiety on the 27th, a fear that this is too good to be true, or a fear that you will lose it as quickly as it comes. This is the old trauma speaking, the old wounds of betrayal, flaring up one last time before they are healed. Acknowledge the fear, but do not invite it in for tea. Treat it like a passing cloud that might obscure the sun for a moment, but cannot stop it from shining. The interplay between Jupiter in Cancer and Venus in your sign is particularly auspicious for matters of the home and family and emotional security. Jupiter expands whatever it touches, and in the sign of Cancer, it expands your capacity to feel safe, to feel nurtured, and to feel at home in your own skin. For a Scorpio, feeling safe is a rare luxury, because you are always scanning for threats, always reading the room, always protecting your soft underbelly. But on these days, the 27th and 28th, the planetary alignment creates a shield of protection around you so strong that you can finally relax your guard. You can finally put down the heavy armor you have been carrying for years and rest. And in that state of rest, in that state of surrender, is where the miracles happen. The universe cannot fill a cup that is already full of worry and defense mechanisms, so empty your cup. Let go of the need to control exactly how this abundance arrives. It might not come in the form of a lottery win. It might come as a business idea that is worth millions in the long run, or a partnership that changes the trajectory of your career, or a healing of a chronic health issue that has been draining your resources. The form does not matter. The essence is what matters, and the essence is restoration. Saturn specifically rules time and delays, and when he stations direct, the sensation is often one of acceleration. Things that were moving at a glacial pace suddenly speed up to a blur. Contracts that were stuck in legal limbo get signed overnight. People who were ghosting you suddenly reappear with apologies and explanations. The stagnation of the last 5 months is shattering like glass, and you need to be ready to move with the shards. Do not cling to the delay. Do not get addicted to the waiting. When the green light flashes on November 27th, you must press the gas pedal. This is not the time for hesitation or for second-guessing your worthiness. You have paid your dues. You have walked through the fire. You have sat in the darkness and kept your own light burning when no one else was looking. The universe noticed. Every tear you swallowed, every scream you stifled, every time you chose kindness over revenge, was recorded in the Akashic records. Now the ledger is being balanced. The energy of the 28th of November deepens this process by bringing a sense of destiny to the events that unfold. You will notice coincidences that are mathematically impossible. You will see numbers repeating, specifically numbers that have personal meaning to you, or the master numbers like 111 or 888 appearing on receipts, on license plates, on clocks. These are not just quirks of the brain looking for patterns. They are digital handshakes from the universe, confirming that the transaction is complete. The transfer of energy is successful. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto and Mars, but in this configuration, Venus takes the wheel, softening the edges of your intensity without dulling your power. It brings a grace to your transformation. Usually, Scorpio transformation is messy and painful, like a snake shedding its skin by rubbing against rough rocks, but this time the shedding is effortless. The old skin simply falls away, revealing the shiny new self underneath, ready to receive, ready to be seen, ready to be loved. This includes your relationship with money, because for you, money is not just currency, it is energy, and it is power. If you have had a complicated relationship with money, viewing it as evil, or hard to get, or something that causes conflict, this Grand Trine is washing away those toxic beliefs. Water cleanses, and this water trine is scrubbing your subconscious mind clean of poverty consciousness. You are remembering your birthright, which is abundance. Nature does not struggle to grow a forest. Nature does not worry if there will be enough sun tomorrow. Nature flows and trusts, and you are part of nature. You are not separate from the abundance of the universe. You are a conduit for it. On the morning of the 27th, as the sun rises, try to be awake to greet the day, because the dawn carries a specific frequency of renewal. You do not need a complex ritual. You do not need expensive crystals, just your presence and your intention. Stand with your feet on the ground or look out at the sky and simply say thank you. Thank you for the challenges that made me strong. Thank you for the delays that protected me. And thank you for the harvest that is now gathering at my feet. Gratitude is the magnet that pulls the event horizon closer to you. It collapses time. As we move through the 27th and into the 28th, you might also notice that people from your past begin to surface. This is a classic symptom of Saturn and Mercury involvement. Mercury is preparing to go retrograde soon and is already in its shadow phase, slowing down and looking backward. Combined with Saturn stationing, this creates a powerful vortex, pulling the past into the present for a final review. But do not be alarmed. These people are not coming back to hurt you, they are coming back to release you. Or perhaps they are coming back to pay you. It is entirely possible that someone who borrowed money from you years ago and vanished will suddenly reach out to repay the debt. It is possible that an employer who undervalued you will circle back with a job offer that reflects your true worth. The theme is restitution. The universe is correcting the errors of the past, but you must also be willing to forgive. Holding on to a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die, and Scorpio knows this better than anyone. You have a long memory and you do not forget easily, but this energy asks you to release the emotional charge of the memory. You can remember the lesson without reliving the pain. When you release the resentment, you free up massive amounts of energy that can then be used to magnetize wealth. Imagine your resentment is a knot in a garden hose blocking the flow of water. When you forgive, you untie the knot and the water bursts forth, nourishing your garden. On November 28th, the energy settles into a hum, a vibration that feels like a large engine idling. It is the sound of potential. It is the feeling of a rocket sitting on the launch pad, fueling up. You are not just receiving a one-time payment, you are being repositioned for a new trajectory. This is why you have felt so disoriented lately, why you have felt like you do not belong in your old life anymore. It is because you do not. You have outgrown the old shell, and the new one is just now hardening. Do not try to fit back into the old boxes. Do not try to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. The blessing coming to you is big, and it requires you to be big to receive it. Expansion is the key word, with Jupiter involved. Jupiter in Cancer is exalted, which means it is functioning at its highest capacity like a king on his throne. It wants to give, it wants to protect, it wants to nurture. And it is looking at you, Scorpio, with a benevolent gaze. It sees your loyalty, it sees your depth, and it wants to reward you with emotional fulfillment, that is just as valuable as the material wealth. You might find that on these days conversations go deeper faster. Small talk feels unbearable. You want the truth. You want the soul. You want the essence. And you will get it. The superficial layers of life are peeling away, leaving only what is real. And for a Scorpio, reality is the only place worth living. Illusions are exhausting. Pretending is exhausting. Being real, being raw, being authentic is where you find your energy source. This Grand Water Trine is a homecoming for your soul. It is the universe saying, welcome back to yourself. You have spent so long wearing masks, so long playing roles that were assigned to you by your family or society, but the mask is falling off, and the face underneath is beautiful and powerful and worthy. As the hours tick by on the 27th, observe your thoughts. Are they thoughts of lack or thoughts of plenty? Are you worrying about the bill, or are you visualizing the bank balance growing? Your mind is the steering wheel. Saturn rewards discipline, and that includes mental discipline. It is not about suppressing negative thoughts. It is about not letting them drive the car. You notice the fear, you acknowledge it, and then you choose trust. You choose to believe that the universe is conspiring in your favor, because the evidence is all around you if you choose to look. The synchronicity, the feelings, the dreams. Speaking of dreams, pay attention to what you dream on the night between the 27th and the 28th. The veil between the conscious and subconscious minds is thinner than tissue paper right now. Messages from your ancestors, messages from your future self might come through in symbols and metaphors. Write them down, even if they make no sense in the morning. The meaning will unravel in time. We are talking about a cosmic alignment that has not happened in this specific way for lifetimes. It is a portal, and you are standing on the threshold. Do not look back. There is nothing back there for you but ghosts and dust. Look forward. Look at the horizon. The sun is rising over a landscape that is lush and green and filled with promise. The desert crossing is over. You have reached the oasis. But this is not just a place to drink and rest. This is a place to build. The resources arriving now are the bricks and mortar for your new empire. Whether that empire is a business, a family, a creative masterpiece, or a life of freedom and travel, it is yours to build. Saturn provides the structure, Venus provides the beauty, and Jupiter provides the scale. You have the master architects of the solar system working on your project. All you have to do is show up and sign the papers. Sign the contract with your soul that says, I accept. I accept my greatness. I accept my wealth. I accept my happiness. It sounds simple, but for a Scorpio, acceptance can be the hardest thing, because you are used to fighting for everything. You are used to suspecting everything. But surrender is not weakness, it is the ultimate strength. It takes more courage to trust than it does to suspect. So be brave. Be brave enough to be happy. Be brave enough to be rich. Be brave enough to be loved. The 27th and 28th are your training ground for this new reality. Walk through these days with the dignity of a king or queen who knows their coronation has already happened. You do not need to shout. You do not need to prove. You just need to be. The silence of Saturn is not an empty silence. It is a pregnant silence. It is the silence of the womb before the birth. It is the silence of the deep ocean where the real power lies. And you, Scorpio, are the creature of the deep. You thrive in the pressure you see in the dark. This is your element. This is your time.